Brownie clipper. That'll keep you going.
A little over a week ago, I launched my plan to move to the forest and build a cabin by myself. And speaking of plans, I think it's time we acquaint you all with the Master Cabin Plan. Step 1, establish base camp. This is just a simple place for me to crash while I'm building, a spot where I can sleep, cook, and sit down for a minute. It's a temporary setup, so nothing needs to be very stable or long-lasting, hence the pallet foundation. We completed this in the last episode, so I'm marking this one done. Step 2, build the bunkhouse.
The purpose of this is to take everything that's in base camp and wrap it in an aesthetically pleasing, climate-controlled box. It's probably going to take me a while to build a proper house-sized cabin. As much as I love my tent right now, I know there's probably an expiration date to how long I can live in there and still work efficiently. So, the main goal of this structure is speed, which means I've got to build this in a way that doesn't require permits or inspections along the way. I'm in southern Utah, and in my county I'm allowed to build structures under 200 square feet without pulling a permit.
So I designed this real efficient little cabin, which is exactly 199 square feet. Step 3, get electrical set up. Electrical is stubbed up at the road, and when I say the road, I mean the other side of the road, on the opposite side of the property. I need to coordinate with several entities to get this inspected and approved and account for waiting time. So I gotta start working on this at the same time as step 2. Step 4, build the cabin.
This will be a larger, fully permitted house. It'll be cool, but it's probably gonna take me a lot longer to build.
Step 5, mystery stuff. Don't worry about this right now. We'll get into it later. And now that the plan's established, we can get started.
All right, now we're ready.
However, immediately after making this plan and marking the first step complete, I decided there was one last thing I needed to get for base camp, a proper bed.
I got a lot to do today. We're gonna see if we can build this bed in like an hour. It's 5:02 right now. Let's see if we can get this done before 4:06.
Having a solid bed frame is really nice. It gets you elevated off the ground, provides some extra storage underneath, but especially gives you a headboard that you can lean against, which feels like a luxury in a tent with no solid walls.
I forgot to pick up any extra screws. So the good news is I've got 6 screws to put this whole bed together, so we're gonna have to get a little creative.
At this point, you might be thinking to yourself, surely, Zach, surely when you moved to the forest for the explicit purpose of building a cabin, you would have thought to bring with you slightly more than 6 total screws.
I'm about out of screws, but luckily I've got nails, so.
But not to worry, because I also brought one very small, half-empty box of nails.
6:07. There's kind of a bed. A few more things to do.
Well, the long story short is that I drove into town to find an outlet to charge up my air compressor. And eventually, I finished the bed.
Time! 7:26. 2.5 hour bed, not bad. The little snafu. Now we just gotta get this thing in the tent. Why is everything I put in this tent so heavy? Check it out. We got a proper bed in here now. Okay, still got some daylight, on to the next one.
As mentioned earlier, I've learned that getting electricity from the point where it's stubbed up at the road to a functioning outlet requires several steps. The first of these is installing a meter base, which needs to be permitted and inspected by the county. Here I'm installing some cement poles and grounding rods to start that process.
It's getting a little wonky. Okay, well, this isn't working. I thought I'd be able to smash the ground rod through, but I've stopped making progress, and it's just bending really bad now. It's getting pretty dark. I think we're gonna call it, figure this out tomorrow. All right, now we're getting somewhere. Oh my goodness. I am so hungry.
Alas, the grounding rods had to wait for more than tomorrow, because today I had a machinery reservation and a task to complete, which seemed a lot more fun.
Okay, here we go.
Perhaps you can tell from my reaction that this was my first time driving an excavator. But not to worry, I took all the necessary safety precautions and quickly took to it, like a fish to water.
Not
The area I'd like to build the bunkhouse is mostly flat, but still has a bit of a grade and needs some work. Driving a mini excavator is great fun. You feel like an industrious man. And in a few short hours, it allowed me to clear and flatten the build site, and even flatten out a few spots around base camp. And with that now complete, it was time to move on to my next task. One which made me wish I'd had my mini excavator rental just a little longer.
Yeah, I am a smart mouth. How do you think I wonder where I am, who I am by now? Just another minute till we sisters sign off. So if you're not winning, wait, bye, bye, bye. Yeah, I got a third eye. I don't do receipts, I'm a witch, fill me up for my switch. I'm a devil in disguise, but I'm hypnotized. They don't even notice. They're in on the ride of their life lifetime. You cannot control this. Happy up, or you're gonna have a real bad time. They don't even notice. They're in on the ride of their life lifetime.
All right, next step. So, got all this lumber delivered, except what I really need is the pressure treated 2x8, which are there, at the very bottom. This is really heavy.
I've got them all confused. I will never be enslaved to the ideas they view. Alcohol, we're nothing more than morning creatures being used. Didn't stop it, get what been its work since we're being praised. Made so
Oh,
well, you want to
jeez.
crap.
All right, what's my deadlift at these days?
Hey, they don't even notice. They're in on the ride of their life lifetime.
Oh, yeah.
Control this. Happy up.
Time to get freaking serious.
They don't even notice. They're in on the ride of their life lifetime. You cannot control this. Happy up, or you're gonna have a real bad time.
Bought that sucker on Facebook Marketplace. Took a while to get it going, so this was a little nervous. Tell you what, I'm feeling locked in, strapped up, ready to go. Throw these joists down so fast.
And it's dark and it's damp, make no mistake. I sure am what I hate, then I love me all the same. The end of Holland Hill, in the corner of your brain. It's dark and it's damp, make no mistake. I sure am what I hate, and I love me all the same. They don't even notice. They're in on the ride of their life lifetime. You cannot control this. Wake me up, or you're gonna have a real bad time.
There we go, joist splitting the girder. Oh, I think that'll be pretty strong. All right, joists are in. Next installation.
Wake me up, or you're gonna have a real bad.
You're gonna have a really
So,
bad time.
we're gonna try out something, a little experiment. We're going with Reflectix, mostly because it's faster. And man, you watch that guy on YouTube, if you've been watching your cabin videos, you know who I'm talking about. He makes a very convincing case that this is the way to go, you know? We're gonna give it a whirl. It's real close to the ground. I mean, I think I can fill in the holes with dirt and rocks later in, so it's gonna be a pretty closed air pocket underneath the joist anyways. Well, we'll see how it goes. Okay, we're moving along here. Sun's going down. I'd say we got another solid hour. Okay, it's done. Got a little more daylight. I'm gonna see if I can get to the OSB, get ourselves a floor. Well, it's getting a little too dark. Squeedos are coming out heavy right now. I think it's time to call it. We'll be back bright and early in the morning. Oh, beautiful new day out here. Nice. Yeah, bright and early, we're ready to get back to it. But first, we gotta do a couple stretches. Really important to do your stretches. You wanna lift the lumber, you gotta stay limber. That's a good stretch. Oh yeah, that's a good stretch right there. Oh, right there, you feel it? Oh yeah, feel it right in the back, don't you? Really good stretch right there. A couple of these. Oh yeah. Cat cows, these are classic. Oh my goodness. All right, I think we're ready. Alright, let's talk about something. So, floor's in, and I'm happy about that. It's nice and level, it's looking good, but it's not perfect. It's got some issues. If you look over here, some of the subfloor has popped up probably a solid 1/8 of an inch. And there's 2 spots where it does it. And I think my floor joist got a little wonky, and I put the insulation on top and I couldn't really see it. I should have corrected for it. There's also another issue. There's 4 skids that hold this thing up. The 2 in the middle, if you look underneath, I was peeking under, they're about a 1/16 of an inch from touching the joist. So there's a gap. And so they're not supporting on those middle 2 really at all. It's just on the outside ones. Neither of those things are great. It would be much better if my skids were flush with my joist, if all my subfloor was completely flush. And there's ways to fix it, right? I mean, we could go in, I could rip out this insulation, to rip out these sheets here, push the joist a little bit, make it better, and we could get it fixed. But like, here's the thing. You can't do everything. You can't have something that is good quality and is done fast and is inexpensive, right? You get to like choose 2 of those. And I'm sort of optimizing for speed here, which means there's a few little quality things that have to go. I don't love these gaps. It's not something I'm proud of, but also can't be living in the tent for the rest of my life. Now, it's not the end of the world, right? I can get some filler in here, I don't know, some sort that'll fill the gap. We'll put some flooring on top and it'll be fine. I've oversized my floor joist, so like, I think I can handle it. And what's the worst case scenario? The joists sag a little bit and then they drop a 1/16 of an inch and they're back on the skids. I think it's gonna be okay, but it's not perfect. You know, I think there's a lesson to be learned there. Nothing is perfect. You look at these houses from the outside and all we see are straight lines and right angles. They look great. But when you really get down to the nuts and bolts of things, when you start looking through the details, they're not perfect. You can't find a perfectly straight wall in your house if you were to take a 6-foot level to it. We look at other people's houses, look at other people's lives, and they all look perfect and fine. All we know are the intimate details of our own structures, our own lives, our own imperfections. We're way too familiar with those things. But everybody's got them. Every house has them, you know? We're all doing okay. Nobody's house is perfect. And well, this one, we've just begun, and it's already imperfect. But that's part of what makes it beautiful. All these little imperfections come together, and you make something beautiful. Hopefully. We'll see.